Yeah, so I mean, I just got access to this, so I was actually pretty psyched about what could be possible here. So let's just get started. So this is going to be, unfiltered. I'm not cherry picking. I just got the thing. I don't know if it works, how it works, or whatever. So let's just get a sense of, what it can do. So I'm just going to say the GitHub Copilot. This is the GitHub Copilot. Then I'm going to conda create -n GitHub pilot Python equal. Just creating a ven for myself. That way, it can actually use libraries, and we can get hopefully code that runs. Okay, yeah, let's do fizzbuzz. So for example, let's say you say def fizzbuzz. Sort of looks like fizzbuzz to me. Does this work? Yeah, it does work. This is indeed fizzbuzz. Found that activate GitHub pilot. Okay, so let's see what else. So first of all, let's save this in the right directory. You should watch. It's really cool. GitHub Copilot. Okay, cool. So let's try something else. So let's try like multiplying two numbers, like define multiply two numbers. Okay, that's right. So now let's try define multiply two hex numbers. All right, yeah, so it took the hex, so that's right. That's kind of wild, actually. Okay, so it's actually better than, than I expected. So how about something like define my startup? Just started, lol. So let's have maybe some code comments so we can say something like this. So basically, set up a Node.js app, make a call to the Twitter API, get the users that are closest to me, then query their top posts. Okay, set up a Node.js app, yeah, sure. Okay, sure, npm install, okay, sure. Make a call to, guys, holy shit. To the API call. Okay, sure. Like there's some API call. Okay, so this is a bit questionable. Okay, closest users. Okay. So this is not so much, but at least it gave like a nice structure for the code top posts. Which is kind of funny, right? Like this is entertaining. Bumble rebirth. Come on, give me a suggestion. Okay, so how about this? Like let's say we're doing some machine learning, right? So basically define logistic regression. Okay, yeah, so it takes an x and y number of iterations and a learning rate. Okay, then what does it take? Okay, so initializes the. Okay, so let's see. So theta, that's right. It's basically the number of columns in the x data set. That's your number of features. So that's correct. And then it's doing gradient descent over n iterations. It's computing the gradient using an NP. Yeah, so it's just missing the import here. And then you update theta, and then this works. Okay, it's kind of cool actually. Uh, I don't know. Let's see mnist. What does it do? Okay, so maybe it should be something like it needs to download mnist dataset, then run logistic regression. Come on, OpenAI. Think. Okay, so it figured out that there's this thing called fetch ML data. Is this a real API? Okay, so let's just pip install sklearn. Try to make it print exact GPL code and violate the license. Okay, so like we can certainly take a look at that. Okay, so I was just curious because I didn't know sklearn had all these data sets. So so I'm actually learning the API this way. Import, fetch ML data. Okay, so it's saying it cannot import this. Why not? Fetch. Does it exist? Import sklearn linear underscore model, and then import logistic regression. Okay, so I mean that's correct. So then if I say all equals logistic regression, yeah, this is all correct code. Okay, so how about this basically? Let's say define print GPL license. Oh, it does exist. Okay, print the GPL license. So you give it the license text. What does this do exactly? The dash 80? It's interesting that it's doing that. So let's see. Let's say so license text is equal to let me say something like, yes, just delete this and say, do not copy this, it's bad. Okay, so then if I say, hey, thank you for the subscribe, appreciate it. All right, I am taking suggestions, like this is why we're doing this. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like I figured it would just print 80 times. So it's just like doing a separator and then a new line, I think. So that's kind of interesting that it's not really what I asked, but it is interesting. On the other hand, the sklearn thing is pretty spot on, right? It's saying get an accuracy score and print it. So let's make this a bit more involved, right? So let's say I want to say define train model. And then what I want to say, make it hack to server. Okay, we'll do that. So let's say, for example, train model using just using convolutional neural network in PyTorch, and then output accuracy score to TensorBoard. Okay, so it's going to load the data. Okay, fine. Okay, so there's some sort of load data function. It's not telling you what it is, like train loader data set. Okay, fine. Okay, fine as well. So there's a test loader, there's train viewer. Okay, so then it's figured out that it needs to resize images to be 28 by 28 pixels, even though I don't know how helpful this is. Okay, create model, convnet, train model, model.fit test model. You see why I keep telling you guys you can't just like learn ML, like because this is at accuracy score, right? Actually, TensorBoard. Holy shit, this is cool. Actually, it figured out the API. That's right. Okay, we still haven't stumped it. I mean, okay. If you had experts of the MIT license, will it predict the rest? It can replicate the common licenses exactly. Okay, so let's try that, for example. So let's see. So the MIT license. Okay, so let's say permission. So I'm gonna start typing this. So maybe text, basically license. So I'll give it a hint. Basically define print MIT license. And then it takes license equals license. Does it do the rest? This is the MIT license. Okay. Okay, it figured out a copyright. Okay, that's cool. So that's something that wasn't in the original one, but 2018 for some reason. Okay, permission is granted to the software and the software to deal with without restriction. Modify, immerse, respond, do so the following conditions. Okay, so for some reason 2018. Okay. Okay, so how about this, for example? So just gonna try it a different language. So let's say I'm doing group by group dot SQL, right? So let's say what I'm trying to do, for example, is I'm gonna select star from what? Does this make sense? Einar, can you take a look at this? What does this query mean? Select uh, file, not file name, um, file dot timestamp, and then maybe date of timestamp from date as date. Okay, count star as count from where? Okay, I saw someone posting something in chat. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, I'm not deploying this to production anywhere, right? So it's okay. Like, forgive me for sinning by not using the right license. Let's count from table where group ID equals question mark and timestamp, group by date, order by date, descending. That's kind of decent, actually. So, what do you think, Einar? Looks decent? Give me an idea for a SQL query to run. Okay, how about um, okay, let's just stick it to Python because I can do more interesting stuff there. Do a partition by window thing. So select from Python is definitely more interesting. Okay, cool. Yo, Hamos, nice to see you, by the way. Thank you. Okay, so maybe how about we can do like some BI stuff within Python, right? Um, can it write efficient code? I can't write efficient code, so it's okay. I'll forgive it. So basically, define query, Bigquery. So let's say query, and then I'm gonna say something like get data from basically setup SQL script as string, make a call to Google BigQuery, print results in a table, and oh wait, maybe write results to disk. All right, thinking. Okay, set up SQL. Okay, this is right, by the way. The BigQueries do look like this. Okay, so it's set up a string, and then it's saying client.query SQL, and then get the result. And then it is correctly writing stuff to disk from results. Yeah, writer. Yeah, this kind of works. Let's see. So now the like my mind would be blown if this is actually what the BigQuery API looks like. Let's just quickly see. Uh, BigQuery SQL API. No, wait. So BigQuery result factor number. Basically define. I don't know. Mine Bitcoin. Let's try this. What does this do? Okay. So some comments. Mine Bitcoin using the Bitcoin Core client. Okay. So it generated the client, and then it's like, okay, I think it's gonna give up here because maybe GitHub doesn't want me mining Bitcoin with this. How well does it predict pandas or NumPy operations? Okay, yeah. So let's. I mean, I think this didn't work very well with the. It's just saying Bitcoin client generate. Uh, does this make sense in here? Bitcoin client generate. I think this just generates a private key as far as I can tell. Okay, now let's try some special algorithmic task. Well, you'd be so I tried depth first search, for example. Look at what it did. Right, so I'll do depth first search. So I wonder if it's getting confused because of the rest of the trash code I have here. Okay, no. So okay, so now it did something with the blockchain. So okay, so I get the blockchain, get the first block, get the first transaction, get the first input, get the first output, get the UTXO, get the first input, the first UTXO. Okay, it did get okay, and it like went into this. Yeah, I think it got confused a bit. So I think this was the mine Bitcoin part. Which is like what? Let me take a screenshot of this. Like an infamous loop. Define. Okay, let's try something like. Okay, so the next one was SHA-52. I think that would be. It's probably going to be easy for it because that's probably literally someone. Someone already wrote this. Okay, yeah. So you get the hash lib SHA-512 hello world, and then hex digest. Guys, this is kind of nuts, honestly. I mean, I still haven't found something where it's useless. Like this is a pretty decent start, by the way. Like if I wanted to do something like this, because I already do this quite a bit, by the way. Like when I set up a script, I write in text, like, okay, I want to do this, then this, then this. And then I break this each into a comment like this. And this sort of saves me a lot of time so far. And I think this is right. Like, is hashlib a real thing? Yeah, it is. So yeah, I think for APIs, you're right. It looks huge. Okay, so what was the next request? So depth first search with a graph. Yeah, so that did work, by the way, before. Like that's something I tested off stream, so I'm pretty sure it works. So let's just try it out again. Oh, wow, we have 16 viewers, by the way. Guys, if you have any questions, any suggestions, feel free to make them. That's why I'm here. I'm going on a long like cabin vacation tomorrow, so I'll be offline. So this is like my last bit of programming fun before I head out. Okay, so depth first search, it created a graph and it did this add vertex thing, and then it did depth first search. Okay, so it's assuming a graph already exists. But it literally did figure it out earlier. That's why this is confusing a bit for me. Uh, it did, yeah. I know it was there. She saw it. She can confirm. But let's tell it, for example, like define, uh, like no, let's say actually, yeah, we haven't tried this like class graph, right? So what does this look like? Okay, so we have a class of a graph class. Okay, what else? That's cool. To what extent do method parameters matter? Okay, vertices, this is correct. Yeah, so it's a dictionary, and then you add something to the dictionary. If it's not already there, that's cool, actually. Yeah, so you can't add an edge if the respective vertices don't exist. Hey, thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate it. And then it does depth first search, which is again correct. It starts with visited nodes, and then it pops them from a stack. Oh, and then depth first search is a function of graph, so it automatically figured out that I'm going to be needing a function called, yeah, take your time, Hamil. Thank you so much. So it already figured out that I need a function called add edge, and it figured out that I need a function called depth first search. Uh, this is kind of blowing my mind. Still, I'm still like I actually thought I would not be impressed. I thought this would be lame. So let's do test two. So come on, like I want more audience suggestions. Let's see. So let's try something ML-ish. Like for example, so define. Oh, so someone asked like, to what extent do method parameters matter? So for example, let's say I want to do define machine learn, and then I have x. Yeah, so you see it like as soon as I put x, it figured out that it needs all these things, right? So what I could also say, maybe if I say opt, what does it do then? Okay, did it use my optimizer? Okay, so it used an estimator as an okay, so this is a bit weird, right? It figured out that okay, it's gonna use a random forest classifier. But it like let's say for creating doc strings, like this is already super useful, right? Like why am I wasting time writing all these things? Uh so factor number. I mean, yeah, let's try it. Factor number, define factor int. I think this should be easy because this sounds like a Googleable thing. Yeah, so I think it's doing so how is it factoring? Yeah, so it's doing it with the naive way, I think, which is it's basically okay, if it's negative, it can't do anything. Otherwise, you start with p equals to 2 and you say while true, if n equals 1, return factors, then you just like take a modulo. So how about let's say I say define yo Krishna, nice to see you again. It's been a long time. Yeah, let's say we say factor big int. Yeah, I like that suggestion. Let's say we say factor big int. Okay, yes, this is all good. And it gave me the exact same algorithm it looks like. Factor with memoization. I actually like that. So define a factor with memoization. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so it created an intermediate function called factor memo, and then it returns factor memo. Yeah, it did figure it out. And so if n is already in memo, you return it from the. This is nuts, right? Fuck this. We should all become salesmen because there's no point in us being engineers again. Fuck. Okay, this is a lot better than I expected. And thank you for the subscribe. I'm super glad to see everyone's enjoying this. Um, so what else did someone ask me? Come on, I want more suggestions. So define basically get weather in San Diego. Oh, I like that, like the test. Yeah, let's try that. So get the weather in San Diego. How does it do it? So it did a request to OpenAI JSON and it has San Diego. Okay. So wait, so I know the weather is 80 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say uh, WSL. Let's see, wget. So let's see. So I'm gonna, I mean, let's just run this, right? So basically, if name equals main, yeah, print weather. That's exactly what I wanted to do. That is exactly what I wanted to do, folks. Okay, so let's say Python test2.py. Okay, so sure, pip install requests. Pip install requests. So why is request not? Oh yeah, because I'm not importing it. Okay, so if I say import, what does it do? That would be really good. Let's let it figure it out because like it's smarter than me at this point. So let's try import. Yeah, I don't think it's helping me so far. So let's say request. Oh, but it figured out that it's requests, not request, right? So that's kind of interesting. Invalid API key. Okay, so I'm missing an API key. Uh, get the weather in San Diego. So yeah, so maybe we should say uh, get API key for weather and get weather in San Diego. Okay, right. So this is okay. So it gave me some garbage API key. Oh, okay. Let's see if this works. Okay, arrow scanning skin litter. Okay, that's a typo. It's a typo, folks. Okay, we're a bit further than before, so now it's returning none for some reason. So okay, so we have this we have this weather key. Um, I mean, so what about if we actually go to open weather? Like, can we actually get an API key like this? I've never done this before. API. Current weather, subscribe. Get API key. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Let's try this out. Where and how to use your API. Other, Facebook. Okay, so where is my API key? Okay, so if this works, this is kind of cool, right? Okay, no, it still hasn't worked. So what happens if you do this though? So if I say just this, invalid API key, okay. So now let's say I also add this. So dash US and app ID missing a function return. Oh, aha. Okay, okay, okay. So, no, it's still invalid API key. So do a weird type of data augmentation with data loader, create a residual layer. Okay, sure. So maybe we could do something like, so define data augmenter. Okay, it sort of got stuck around this whole API key business. So maybe let me create another file for it. So data load, I'm gonna call it data loader. So basically our function, define ML func. And so it's gonna have 3 parts, I think. That was your suggestion. So the first step is uh, get load data in with a data loader, do some data augmentations, create a machine learning model with a residual layer, and then create like basically do a grid search to find the optimal learning rate, then print loss. All right, this is meaty, right? So okay, so this is actually like if you wanted to do your main, this is pretty close to what it would look like, right? So you have a grid search over model X-train. So now let's look at see what data augmentation looks like. So if we say data define data augmentation. Okay, so we're copying the data. Guys, come on. Holy shit. Like it figured it out. Like it's doing a rotation. It's doing a flip and it's doing a shuffle. So these are the 3 main augmentations used for image data. So basically, let's add one more thing. For example, like we can say, well, we don't just want shuffle. Like maybe we wanna change color, right? Right. So now it has a color change, right? And so now you can say define color change, and this takes in an image. Going back, dude, I'm thinking the exact same thing. Like, why am I being paid? Okay, so it uses this library called CV2, and it changed the color, and then it takes this image and it does actually change the color, right? And let's say, for example, okay, we want to change the color, but how about we also want to clip the size? So basically, resize. Okay. So for the number of images and the training shape, X training augmentation, so CV2 resize. Yeah, so it's resizing them to be like basically half the size in the X and the Y coordinates. And doing the same thing for Y. Okay, so now let's see what else besides rotate. What can we do? We can basically crop. So for I in range of this. Okay, so this is, I think, copying. Okay. Okay, so I noticed this is a common pattern where it starts like it starts repeating a lot of stuff. Yeah, like it is sort of like a mode collapse, right? So I think this example got complicated enough. So come on, help me think of more ideas. Let's see, test3.py. So how about like for example, I don't know, like define Q learning. So it takes an environment and number of episodes. Okay, basically, uh, get the mountain car environment from OpenAI Gym. Run Q learning on it and save the model, save the policy to disk. Okay, so let's see if this works. All right, and Gym make, yeah, that's right. So that is exactly what it looks like in Gym. And then it has this Q learning agent, which is taking an env and an alpha and a gamma. I forget if this is correct. Okay, and then it has this agent, right? So now I think that it's implying that there's this class called the Q learning agent. So what does that look like? Oh yeah, and this is taking an env and it's taking an alpha, gamma, and then epsilon. Oh no, sorry. So this is in its init function, right? So then you have define init. I mean, let's see if it can do it actually without me helping it out. Okay, so initialize the agent, right, with the n of alpha, gamma, and epsilon. It creates the Q table. It creates a state and it also resets the environment. Dear God, 100% I'm going to be unemployed in a year. All right, so when it starts the episode, so for each episode, it resets the environment, which is correct. And then asks if it's done, and it's not. And then it chooses an action, and then it gets the reward from that action by taking a step through the environment, which is accurate. So really, the only thing that's missing here is import gem. Like that's it. Otherwise, this code runs. Um, so when you say reward and step, you update your queue function, and then you update the state, right? And then when you're choosing an action, so they also have like epsilon greedy. Holy shit. So yeah, so this is an epsilon greedy action where it correctly takes like an argmax over this stuff. And then this is the Bellman equation, which is correct as well. So you have your old Q, you multiply it, and then you multiply it by the difference between your old Q estimate and your new Q estimate, depending on your reward and gamma as well. And then you save the policy. So this it didn't figure out. Let's see. So yeah, so this is NP table, a Q table, self Q. I mean, regardless of how much time it takes, I think it takes less than the amount of time it would take me to figure it out. Like maybe I could spend like, I don't know, like an afternoon rewriting this, like not, 2 seconds. What was that? Oh yeah, okay, I forgot, sorry. So whoever asked me for the test function, I apologize. Basically, let's say test Q learning. Okay, so it's just saying agent.test. Okay. That's not that's not very helpful. So let's say if we said like, okay, like we'll create a test function for us here. What does this do? So it's gonna load the Q table from disk. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. So let's try something a bit simpler. It's material. Yeah, I mean, but like I would pay money for this, right? Like, I mean, how much would you pay? Like consider like a software engineering salary, right? Like you could pay like $100 a month for this and it would still be fine. I'd pay like $100 easy if it worked easy. I mean, if I can just like chill for most of the day and like read books, you know, and then like have this do all like my like I think one thing that I thought was really underrated that I didn't see anyone discuss on Twitter is like, well, like this basically. So let's say I'm writing like test5.py. Like typically when I write code, I'm doing something. So I knew GPT-3 ops good at front end, but this is pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, like again, so let's say I'm like, this is like def side project, like basically my work function, right? Thank you for the subscribe. So this is, I think, was underrated for me. So one is, for example, get, for example, BigQuery credentials, set up a SQL script called with my credentials against the PyPy database, where I select the most popular files and group by date, and then basically write that table to disk under a file called results.csv. So for me, this is like, okay, so what? See, Hamil, though? Like, so I was talking about how much I pay for this, then I did this shit. Well, what you want to do is like pass. Okay, well, no, don't pass, you fucker. Come on. Like, let's like work. So it was here though. Hey, thank you for the subscribe. Wow, thank you guys. So this was it. So this I didn't write this myself, right? So I wrote this, set up SQL script as string, make a call to BigQuery and write results to disk. It set up the SQL query as string, it queried the BigQuery API, and then it wrote the results to disk. Like for me, this is a huge productivity boost. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pomelo Rebirth, appreciate it. All right, folks, come on, give me more ideas. I want more and more ideas. So, like, let's say define, basically, let's do something complicated, like something mathy, right? Like automatic autograd. Don't know if you already did, but can we try some interview problems? It may figure it out. Yeah, sure, we could do lead code. So let's try something complicated first. Autograd. What? So I noticed it does this quite a few times by the way, Hammer. Like it sort of gets into these infinite loops where it just like publishes weird stuff. Like here, let me show it to you. I think it's like a mode collapse thing, like here. Like this was really bizarre. PyTorch simple iris classifier.
Somebody asked this question a few times.
Oh, sorry. Compare password versus compare password constant time. Okay, so define compare. Sorry, my girlfriend is helping me moderate some of the questions. Compare password. So is that what they're asking for? No. What was the question again? Show it to me.
Another function to compare password constant time. Make it
Define. Oh, compare password constant time. Okay, so enter your password. If password. I think so. What you are looking for is get the MD5 hash, right? So I think if that's the case, maybe what we can do is like define compare password with MD5 hash. Right. So I think this is what you're asking. Okay. No. Also. Okay. So let's do this again. So how about I do this? So define compare password. And then what this is going to do is get password and turn it into MD5 hash, and then compare it to password currently saved in disk. Okay, so for example here, so it's like get pass. Okay, so it did figure out the hash part now. So now we have the password hash from disk, and we have the password hash. So is get pass a real function? Like Python get pass? It is actually a real thing. Okay, so I feel like again, another thing I feel like I'm learning a lot here is it's making me aware of libraries that I would never use. I take a Jupyter notebook and extract the code. Oh, So you mean straight up like, let's see. So I think I had here something Google Cloud. Wait, so I'm still not sure I followed it. So take a Jupyter notebook and extract the code and save it as a PY file. Oh, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so basically define, turn Jupyter notebook into a Python file. It said script, right? So it already import NB format, import sys, import OS, import re, import glob, import util, NB format again, NB convert. Okay, okay. No, you see, this is a bit too hard. Did you write NB format, by the way? So it means parse the JSON can extract the code cells, right? Okay. Now it's like putting this stuff, okay. It's thinking, okay. Okay, no, okay, this didn't quite work out. Okay, yo, Chili, how's it going? Come on, you should give me a suggestion. So basically, let's try something that Chili would write. So basically, define, make a PyTorch graph uh, V-mappable. This is a bit much, right? So let's try this. Okay, so it just created a random graph, I think. So it didn't understand PyTorch graph. So, but let's try rewriting this. So let's say define graph transform. And then we want to say basically get PyTorch graph, and then turn PyTorch graph into VMap, VMappable, VMappable. Yeah. Come on. Okay, so I had someone ask for a scraper to get all the US presidents from Wikipedia and their political party. I think this is actually on the easier front. So graph util graph from PyTorch. Chili, does this look reasonable to you? Is this a real function? Graph serialized to string. Serialized to string. Okay, so it just serialized it as a string. No, I think, let's see. Uh, graph from, okay. But it's funny like how it makes up stuff that's relatively plausible. Like, yeah, you would expect to have a serialized to. What's my stance on it? I think it's insanely useful. Like, I think when it comes to discovering APIs, uh, and being able to write like an outline of my program in the comments and then get basically something that looks relatively reasonable out of it, for me has been really useful. Scrape Airbnb listings in Lebanon, sure. Like get free Airbnb. All right, so uh, get free Airbnb listings in Lebanon. So I think this was similar to the. So, okay, free Airbnb listing, for listing and Airbnb listings. Okay, so here, for example, it's doing something that looks relatively reasonable, but it's missing the call to the API. A Y Combinator is something non-trivial like lambdas. Yeah, I'll try that too. So, okay, so basically make a request. So how about we do Craigslist, right? So define get available apartments on Craigslist. Okay, so I'm going to say query Craigslist and then get available apartments in Lebanon. So this, I think it does surprisingly well, these kinds of queries. I've been really impressed. Okay, so lebanon.craigslist.org. Beautiful soup. Guys, holy shit, like, holy shit, this is cool. Okay, wait. So, no way. Okay, this does. I got excited. So lebanon.craigslist.org. It's like it really makes it seem like it's reasonable. Like let's see, how does Craigslist look like? Uh oh, wait. Because there's no Craigslist in Lebanon. Like that's close actually. So let's say if I said San Diego, and then if I said pip install a beautiful soup 4, right? And then I ran Python test, is this test 5? cd github and Python 5, and then yeah, so import. I keep forgetting about the imports now. I think that would be, I think I think it's like from BS4 import. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, so of course I'm not returning this. So basically if, how about just print apartments? Oh, there we are. Okay. Oh, so it's forgot like I want the number of apartments. What I actually want is the number of apartments, but it is an import request. Yeah. So import request. Okay, there's nothing there. San Diego. Why is there nothing there though? +1 on the location question. Wait, Copilot knows your location? No, no. So I put in San Diego. We can try that though. Appa. Yeah, what is Appa? Man, but this is correct, right? This is correct so far. Like, this is a real URL. It's making a request to this URL, and then beautiful soup is looking at the response. So let's just inspect the JavaScript, the web here. So if I say inspect here, where's the names? So Lebanon is just like because I'm from there, and Adam in chat suggested I put that in. It didn't figure out that I'm from Lebanon. Um, let's see. So if I say pet friendly, yeah. So because here it's within an A, right? So maybe if I do, uh, and then the class is result title. Yeah. So it's an A first off. Um, and then it's a class result title. So let me try that. Result, and then, sorry, title. Okay, still nothing. Oh, because this should be A. You can't tell me this is not insane, right? Because, like, yes, it wasn't right that it's an A. Like it was a P, it's an A. But the fact that it put in everything for me, told me that this is the library I probably need to use, just saves me like a ton of time. Can I try this problem? Yes, I can. Okay, there are 3 cards on the desk, each with a positive integers. You have 2 cards and pick them up. Find the maximum possible sum of the integers written on card. Okay, so let's try this out. Oh yeah, that's the plan. So test 10.py. So define, let's call this like lead code. It's just like I give up. This is how I feel during coding interviews. Put my hands. Let's try this again. So there are 3 cards. I mean, let's format this a bit better for it. Maybe it's getting confused all the white space. Like, because this is giving it less time than I'm given during coding interviews. You have chosen 2 cards. Find the maximum possible sum. Try formatting. Oh, okay. So how about give it as input? Oh, I see. The integers. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see. I see. This is what y'all mean with on the cards. Uh, so let's say input, output. Try something like this. Yeah. Wait, wait. It did something now. What was this? What the fuck am I looking at? How would you come up with what the hell is this? So it's taking the sum of what exactly? The max of what? Okay, this is probably wrong. Okay, wait. So let's see, ABC. Right, so let's try this. Each of the positive enjoyed on the cards. You have chosen 2 cards and pick them up. Find the max positive, put it on the picked cards. Yeah, I mean, yo, Tala Frank, nice to see you again. I mean, come on, this is legit, right? Come on, Chili, you have to give it something harder now. How about what's something? Well, like it has. Is it a determinant? It's right. Yeah. Like yeah. It's right. It's right. It took the pairwise sums and then just took the max of all of them. Um, what else can we do that's interesting? So thinking, how about uh define? Can you try doing C interop from C types import something and see? Give it a harder problem. Like you go through elite code and pick something that you think is hard. Actually, go for it. So in the meantime, I'll do C interrupt. So define. Let's see. Basically, call uh, C function. Okay, it didn't do anything. So you said you want instead from C types. That I'm pretty sure it can do. I'm pretty sure it can do black and white imports because we did it here in the data loader. So I asked it here. So check this out. So let's say now I say, so this, the resize, it figured out, like I said, just data augmentation. And by itself, it figured out rotate, flip, and shuffle. And so I added resize and it did it correctly using the CV2 library. Yeah, actually, you notice that like it's like the viewers here. So let's see. So for so actually, so we said something like black and white, like make black and white. Is this correct? How does black and white work again? What does this do? Yeah, so you see, like it's exactly what Ham was saying. So now you're testing my knowledge if I remember how to make images black and white. I think but usually what I would do is I would use all 3 channel values and then average them or something into a single one. And what this is just doing is just taking the last of this. I don't think this is correct actually. Matplotlib functions. Yeah, so let's try something like, so I think I have no idea how to solve this question, to be honest. No. Um, so let's see. So matplotlib function. So for example, let's try something like define a plot. And what this is going to do is import matplotlib. And then it's basically going to generate a Taylor series of f of x equals y equals e to the x and plot. Okay, so it's figured out that it needs to plot e of x, but just not the Taylor series, right? So maybe what we could do then is we could say, okay, f of x equals to this, and then Taylor series of f. That's kind of cool. Come on. So there's a container with ASI involved. It's like really from this problem. Okay, let's try this out. Okay. So I mean, let's see. Like, can I just give it the prompt and then it figures out the code? Like, because like, interview by. So let's say I'm curious if I literally just do this. Like, I'm not even gonna write the function. I'm just gonna do this. What happens now? Can you sign up for an interview and stream that with this turned on? I'd be happy, like if you want to do, if you actually want to team up on that, if you want to interview me while I use this, yeah, that would be fun. Probably not today though, but like when I'm back from vacation. Uh, Okay, so I think we need to format it a bit more, right? So I think did you have a formatted version actually? Let's see. So a sign balls, define as many times as you want, add b sign ball to c, and then this to reach this, determine this. Oh, I see, I see. Okay, so but the thing is like no one ever lets you interview this shit on your own UI. Like it's like it'll be like in whatever, like I don't know, do it in a Google Doc kind of thing. Um, so there is a container with a sign ball. So okay, let's try to do the function of it, right? So if you say uh, is achievable. Wait, is this correct actually? No, it's still missing a, right? Like no, okay, yeah. Wait, what's the problem? I didn't read it yet. So add b sign balls and c red balls into the container, and it's to reach a situation where the number of sign balls is at most d times the number of red balls in it. The objective is achievable. Find the maximum number. Okay. I think like these discrete. Okay, is what? Wait, what is this? It's doing like doc strings. That's interesting. Okay, it's definitely okay. So if b plus c is greater than a, return false. If d times b, write a quine. Okay. How about yeah, we can do a quine. So basically, quine.py, define quine. So define print self, print quine. Quine.quine hello. This is a global variable. What? Print self. Huh? What is this? Wait, so if I say Python quine, what is this doing exactly? Yeah, like very confusing. Okay, so define p is equal to np. Yeah, like this is I was like because I thought like wait, is there something weird in Python here that you can sort of do this? Like made me question. So let's see if is p equal np. Yes. Uh, where's my Turing award? Okay, what else? What else? So we had about building an environment like a tic-tac-toe or more complex environment. I think tic-tac-toe, you would say class tic-tac-toe. And I was surprised at how different the behavior gets. So let's say, okay, so you have a board with nine cells. That's correct. It's also using it's referring to play with an integer, which is correct, and then it's determining whether who the winner is, and then there's a history. Okay, so what else can we do? So then there's the current state number, self p1. So number of times they won, number of times they've drawn, the win rate, the draw rate. Okay, that's interesting. Like it's like doing like a full stats, the draw list, the win rate list, draw rate list. Okay, it's doing the mode thing again. So let's help it out. I think when it gets stuck like this, like we could potentially say, okay, well, this is enough. And then you say define check line, right? So this is, oh, interesting. Can you get it to draw something? Yeah, tic-tac-toe, there'll be many. But I mean, it is figuring out that it needs to do something like check a line, right? So there still needs to be some sort of play. Let's just figure out play. So if self board index is equal to 0, board index history.append. Dude. Like, I mean, guys, no joke, by the way. Like, if I had this when I was learning how to make games, like, this would have been huge for me. Because it's just like sometimes, like, yeah, you're Googling around, but like having this thing help you out is really nice here. Like it's obvious that you're playing a move, then you're appending it to the history, and then you want to change player, right? So there's no change player function. It's probably just going to change an int because that's what it did. So let's try. Yeah, it also automatically figured out that I needed to change player. If self player equals 1, self player 2, else self player 1. Yeah. So basically 0 is there's no player, and then basically determine winner. Huh? Oh, if they won 3 times in a row, they won. I see. So they're doing like a sort of like best out of, you could then say change like, okay, to best out of 2 or best 3 or self.p2 when equals 2, for example. Very cool. Okay. So tic-tac-toe, there were a lot. So I think that's easy. So get it to draw something. I like that suggestion. So draw.py. Basically define a draw. And what this is going to do is draw a tree and save it. Draw an ASCII tree and save it and print it to console. Implement this function. Sounds about right. Okay, so that's a bit hard. So let's say something. What are some drawing libraries? I mean, no, but saying it, draw ASCII tree. Draw a tree. So let's try this. Instead of this, maybe draw a tree. Oh, it's using Scratch to draw a triangle. Wait, no way, no way, no way. If this actually drew a tree with these movements, I would be mind blown. I doubt it though, but let's see. What do you think? Does this look like a tree, folks? Like, how can I just let it know, like, keep doing it? You should add variable, maybe some fractal. Yeah, maybe you're right, actually. So maybe draw a triangle, basically XYZ. I'm going to draw a triangle, okay. So this is the coordinates for my triangle. These are the coordinates again. Okay, nope, nope, yeah, it's looping again. How about this? Like, let's say, let's call it triangle.py. And then how about we say, draw a shape. And then you take points. Draw a shape from a list of points. Okay, so what is this going to do? So you're saying for I in range of length of points, for I equals 0 points. Okay, so it's just printing points, actually. It's not doing anything. I didn't know print had an end. What does that do, actually? That's news to me. Python. Triangle. Oh, it does do anything. Yeah, so maybe separate by spaces. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So draw a shape. So let's see. It's printing out all of the edges. Oh, is it? Oh, okay, wait. So why isn't it showing me anything? Oh, because I need to give it points. Okay, so let's try. Um, yeah. Maybe did you cover license issues? Not really. Like, I mean, I don't have a good I don't have good feedback on that. I mean, so okay, so let's give this as points. So it looks like each point draw a shape from a list of points. So is it assuming that these are XY coordinates, or what is it assuming? So maybe if I say something define draw a shape, and I'm gonna say, for example, if you have print out P0, P0, P1, P2. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Interesting. So yeah, like I think yeah, I do think type hints will help here. So basically, we want to say this is points, which is a list, and then the shape type is a string. Huh? What does that mean? Okay, let's try this. kind of nuts actually. So I think the shape though it does. So we have a bunch of points. It would require it to be the main DSL. Hmm. I bet being super smooth is probably very important, but it does the correct thing, kind of. Wait, let me think a bit more. For example, let's say I say draw donut and Matplotlib. Oh, interesting. Yeah, import Matplotlib. Yeah, sorry. Import pyplot SPLT. Maybe let me call this like define plot donut. So a donut. What's a donut graph? A donut graph? Yeah, like I think I had Hamel like uh I think put in a good word for me. A friend at GitHub. A pie chart with a hole. I mean, I think if I were like true chaotic good, I could just give y'all access to my PC right now, and we could just like go at this. Um, like I would do React, but like I'm not. I'm not. So it's like a JSX. Hello dot JSX. Okay, so let's say starter code. Yeah, I actually like the suggestion around taking real code from GitHub. So let's try that. So let's say, okay, this like I work on TorchServe now. So let's say, for example, I don't know, we have this thing, a model loader. It needs to be something a bit simpler, I think. Just like because if it has too many dependencies on stuff, it's not going to be very useful. Um, so I mean, so what are some interesting code bases? Like, let's say, I don't know, Hugging Face. Models. Let's say Hugging Face, GitHub. Transformers, and then source. I think, yeah, so I think the BERT model was here. So we're birding the BERT model. Okay, so I think it was your modeling BERT. And this is I think much harder, right? But let's see. Algorithms that destroyed them, by the way. Like when I said DFS, it just figured it out perfectly. It's the same DFS I use for coding interviews. Okay, so let's say we take this for example, right? And then uh, we have BERT.py. Okay, so let's just delete some stuff. Let's say I'm gonna delete. So let's just. I mean, if we comment it out, it's too easy for it. So I'm just gonna cut this. Super init config number labels BERT model add pooling layer linear layer dropout init weights apply like for good measure. Okay, so let's look at the difference. So BERT model config add pooling layer false end layer config hidden size config number of labels. Yeah, it figured out everything. If it could finish your DFS. Uh, yeah, actually, like if you like, put in, try doing this. Okay. Mascot all the lines before line 18. All right, let's do it. Okay. Okay, DFS.py. all the lines before line 18. Okay, so you wanna just get rid of this. Oh, all the lines after. Okay, sure. Yeah, this looks kind of DFS-ish, yeah. If the new distance is bigger, then set it, and you have a new parent. Push to the heap queue, return distance of parents. That's what was the original one? Return dist parents, heap push, queue, parents. I mean, it looks more correct than your version. Like, did it figure out the parents here? Oh, it did. I see. It's just in the same line. I think so. Yeah. Like, let's just look at the difference. So I see. So instead of distance of W and V, it had this edge length and path length. Um, but are they the same? Yeah. What's distance? So this looks kind of funky. Um, oh, but then you literally called. Okay, you called this, and then heap push Q. And instead of the distance of W to W, they have the distance of W to W, which also doesn't seem right. I think, yeah, there's a couple of just looks a bit off, I think, like looking at it. It's using path length as it's equal to distance of W. Yeah, I think it's just like doing like I figured it was doing some sort of like rewriting here with the variable names. So what I wonder is like, let's say you want to change this. Let's say here we have distance of W and parallel W. So let's say distance of W is equal to, let's say I call this edge length. What happens? Okay, okay. Let's see. Uh, so I do think it figures out some stuff. So let's look at, for example, hmm. So I think anything that was like API based, it just destroyed. I think drawing seems to not be great. The VC dimension of a neural network. Yeah, sure. Define find VC. So this basically takes a network and find the VC dimension of a neural network. Okay, so it's doing something with DFS again. Okay, so here it's like, because the file name was DFS. Okay, let's try it again. This we say vc.py. Oh no, sorry. Define find the VC neural network. One thing I'm curious about is if I say something like this, like basically find VC dimension of a neural network, and then we can go to VC dimension from Wikipedia. Maybe it's like, okay, find the dimension of the input layer, find dimension of the output layer, find the dimension of the hidden layer. Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, this is like sure, it's not exactly the VC dimension, but at the same time, it is kind of a useful function for me. Like if I had a neural network I was working with, it would be kind of neat if I could just say like print like the parameter size. Like, this is very practical for me. This is cool. Um, let's see. So although like here, this may be some confirmation bias, because like if you were trying to actually do VC dimension, you'd be frustrated by this. But because we don't care about what it does, we're happy to see this. That's another thing to keep in mind when you're actually using it for your day job. Your experience may be a bit different, depending on how much you care about the output. Let's see. What else can we do? Which chat you planted on? I'm gonna regret my words, right? Uh, let's see. So, I mean, think of it though. Like, I mean, Superhuman fucking like they got back to me after like 5 years after I got on their beta to tell me like, do you want to subscribe for like $100 email service? I told them like, I didn't answer. I was like fuck off. Like if you wanted me, you should have asked me before. Uh, let's see. Chili, come on though, man. Like if this saves you like a couple of hours a day, it's worth it. But like I may have been over promising a bit. So let's do something like, oh, I see. So how about, okay, so let's just go crypto, right? So let's say, for example, uh, define incorporates company. Company name equals company name, number of shares, exchange, ticker. We'll take in a company name, the number of shares owned, the exchange where the stock was purchased, and the ticker symbol of the stock. And then we'll return a dictionary with the company name, number of shares owned, and exchange. All right, this is interesting in of itself. So I think I need to prune it a bit more, right? Rubber meets the road when a credit card is requested. That is true, by the way. I think. So by the way, like I was reading this book called The Mom Test. Like if you ask your friends, like, would you use this? Like they're all gonna say yes, right? Because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So it all matters. Like when you can actually put the credit card in, that's when it all matters. So how about we do this? Like we're gonna say incorporate company on Ethereum blockchain, for example, something like this. Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm just saying something like gas fee, for example. Oh, yeah, and gas limits. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I think maybe there's a bit much for it. I think regex it probably should be fine. So how about we do this like regex uh, dot shell. Does it do shell scripts? Let's see. Get all files in current directory that end with get all files in directory uh, that have an email. Okay, so you're doing bin ls, which is correct in the current directory, and then you're saying I want to do a grep. This is right. We'll convert natural numbers to einsum. Let's see. So dot shell einsum. Uh, convert natural numbers to einsum. It's like no, I refuse. Okay. So let's see. So folks, I'm gonna do like a couple more, but I do want to head out soon. So I'm gonna take sudomaze. Come on, I'm taking suggestions. I'll take maybe I'll take 5 suggestions, and then I do want to head out. I want to go to my cabin retreat. From just reading, can I do? Does it just use static info from just reading the current file, or can it do more complex stuff? Monkey patch an imported class that is use the correct number of variables methods. It does actually. So let's do an example of this. Let's say something like class dot by. Let's say, for example, I have define, I don't know, so class service. Okay, sure, yeah, that looks about right. Something weird going on here. It's what's it called? It's here. Don't stalk me. I'm going. Where is it? The Airbnb makes it so easy to just book stuff and forget where it is. I think it's Lake Arrowhead. Yeah. Oh yeah, I will be here, folks. Yeah, we have to go actually, right? Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, like so I think I lied when I said I'll do 5. I'll just do 2. So let's do final dot shell. Yeah, you're gonna stalk me now, Tylo. Thank you. So let's see. So what's something that would be a useful one-line bash script? So for example, let's say run the same script with a different batch size, model name, and data set name. Okay, so it did figure this out, but I wanted it to loop it, right? So example, guys, that is a reasonable batch size. That is a correct model. That is a correct data set name. This is kind of crazy, right? I actually don't know what Moravec's paradox is. So author is Yuping Lu. Okay, so okay, yeah, yeah. I think this is what we talked about with these problems. If this is a name it made up, that would be even worse. Let's see. Who's Yuping Lu? That is a real person, actually. Okay. At Berkeley Lab. Is he in machine learning? Yeah, he is in machine learning. Okay, yeah, so so maybe this is something to, to take a look at. Okay, author, date modified. No, come on, but if the date, like, let's go to his GitHub. This is creepy as fuck at this point, but I'm curious. So this is repositories, Moga. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is a real privacy concern because it's a real person. It's also machine learning, so I doubt it's like a coincidence. Okay, last one. Okay, last dot py. Okay, so now let's see. It has to be cool, right? So come on. I want a suggestion from chat. Let me scroll up, see if I'm missing anything. So whoever is gonna ask it next is gonna get priority, by the way. So okay, I like the pie chart suggestion. So I'm gonna say define pie chart. Draw a pie chart. Ask the code in AGI. Define artificial general intelligence. Okay, so it's probably gonna, yeah, so it contains, you can call other functions from this file, so the return value must be an action in the game state. So I think what this is saying is that reinforcement learning is the way for AGI, right? So now it's just like, I think that's it. There's a working program. You just need to import, like from random, import random. That's it. From random, import random. And this works. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I had a lot. This is one of the more fun streams. I don't think it's gonna be the last time I play around with this because I do want to get some sense of, just like how to actually use this better in like sort of a non-toy setting. Okay, fine. I'll do a Y Combinator for you. But I do want to really thank everyone who watched. This is one of the more popular streams on Hamil. Thank you so much for sharing access. It means a lot to me. So Y Combinator. And thank you for the subscriptions, everyone. I appreciate it. So let's see. Return the top 10 posts on Y Combinator. So it did all these crazy URL replaces. And then what? Okay, that's cool. Keep replacing URLs. Okay, it did not work. Okay, so it sounds like Y Combinator just returns the top 10 posts and then just does some URL replaces for some reason. All right, folks, thank you so much. I'll see y'all soon, probably on Tuesday. I'll play around with this some more, so thank you so much. Goodbye.